Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing here today? Thanks again for tuning in. Uh, Probably going to be a pretty good day here, I would imagine, based on what I'm seeing so far. So there's a few things I'll be watching. Again, today, not going to be a too crazy of a watch list day. Really only watching a couple things. There's nothing out there that really grasped my eye that I thought was too amazing this morning. So again, that's why the watch list is somewhat small here, but it is what it is. What's going on, Chad? What's going on, Taylor? What's going on, how's Samuel? I'll just call you Sam. Nick, how's it going, buddy? Are the Bulls back? Are the Bulls back? The Bulls aren't back, not yet. And Bulls aren't back. Well, I mean, yeah, they are back to an extent, but no, I wouldn't say the Bulls are back. They've been here, but the Bulls are back when they successfully claim new territory, perform higher lows, and show that it doesn't want to come down. Right now, we're still just on the up move. We haven't really even tried going much lower. But we are going to talk about the market, give you some insight on kind of where my head's at a little bit. Go from there. All right. You know what's funny is I did not play IBM long. Well, I did, but I didn't play IBM long in the morning because I got carried away trading. Was it S? I think it was SYF. I got carried away watching SYF, so then I never played IBM until later when I thought it would bounce at a level and it didn't. Then I ended up losing 1,000 on. So I ended up losing. I think I lost 1,000 or a little more, 1,200 on IBM yesterday. So I never traded it long until after its big move, and I was looking for a bounce, and it just didn't happen. So I did, but not how I should have. So I will touch on this one here. This is the first stock on my watch list. Well, not necessarily the first, but it's one. This is LPCN. As many of you might know, the other day, a couple days ago, it went through this really big push pre-market, and then it basically crashed. Well, it's come down all the way, and it's filled its gap, and you can kind of see it starting to curl up a little bit here. They also have news of a LPCN 8K filing show or investigational new drug application to initiate phase 2 of LPCN 144 in NASH with biopsy confirmed, blah, 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 blah. So some news, something, right? So it might have a move. Now, a lot of you are probably looking at this and going, Connor, what on earth are you looking at? How would you? Why would you? And again, it's not the most amazing thing in the world, but it has some potential. You see this big push and this sell-off. Well, the stock has come down all the way. It's filled its gap. It's curling. This has potential. It just needs a little bit more volume. This is the only penny stock today that I actually somewhat had my eyes on. Other than that, and that's about it for penny stocks here today. So LPCN will be one of these stocks on the watch. It's unfortunate if this breaks down here, because if it breaks down right now, it doesn't mean it won't run. It just means it'll be a little less likely to run. But there's also almost another hour before market open, so there's time. Okay, now let's say that it did go higher, and let's say it did what everybody on StockTwitch says. It's going to the moon. It's going to the moon. So maybe it does go to the moon today. Maybe it does actually go to the moon. Okay. If it were to go to the moon, you should be marking off all these levels. I'm going to mark them off, and then I'll call them out, and you can mark them as you please. A $2 level should be marked off. Your 220 level should be marked off. Your 229, 230 should be marked off. Your 264 and 253 should be marked off, all the way up to obviously the high here pre-market, so 390, 380, and 325. So it's not like this doesn't have some resistance to go through. It's got a lot of resistance to go through, okay? So that's what it's going to be fighting against. Now, if you were to maybe look at a 180-day time frame, it's also arguable that it has a lot of support here. So though it has some resistance to fight through, it also has a whole 2 weeks of straight consolidation support that it's at. So yeah, there's resistance that it's got to pass, but it's also sitting on a 2-week consolidated structured support system. So it's possible that it does pick up. It's possible that it moves. So we'll see. But as of right now, it doesn't look all that great with this last move down. Okay. Alrighty then. We are going to now look at LRCX. And again, there's probably been some things that have changed since I've gotten on. So just mind you, when I get on and I start doing everything and I get ready to stream, again, sometimes stocks will change and move and I don't even know what they've done since I've got on. So there might be something new that I stumble across. So LRCX, right? Why out of all the stocks today, LRCX? Well, from when I got on earlier, started going through things, LRCX is a stock that, in my opinion, I believe to be one of the most appealing. Not necessarily because of the way the chart moved, but particularly because it actually had some volume and the chart was actually moving. So compare LRCX to a lot of the stocks this morning that have had earnings, guys, and this one stands out because to me it appears there's volume, right? If we look at a lot of the stocks that reported earnings yesterday and maybe even this morning, none of them really seem to have a whole hell of a lot of volume, which then makes me go, And granted, I will say that even when stocks don't have a ton of volume pre-market, they can still have a really good day. I've seen multiple occasions where, I'll be in the morning and a little bit of it is being stuck in my ways, right? Where I'll look at a stock and be like, well, it doesn't really have all that much volume pre-market, so I probably won't focus on it. And then next thing you know, it just goes on an absolute tear. Volume picks up when the market opens and the thing rips, right? And that happens, but it's not very often. Like I've seen it happen on multiple occasions, but you take those multiple occasions and you mix it in with the everyday, and it rarely happens. So it's happened a lot, but in relation to all the stocks that are having earnings and that have earnings every single couple quarters, it doesn't happen very often. So I tend to just say, you know what? Though it could, I'm just not going to watch it because it could have a good day, but from my experience, majority of the time, that's not the case. So do I want to waste my time following the stock that I know most likely won't have a good day, or should I just gravitate that attention towards something that I know has a better chance of having a good day? And that's the way I go about it. And so when I look at LRCX, I go, okay, it's got some volume. It's not the greatest, but it's better than what I've seen to an extent. So that's one of them that I'll be watching. It is a gap up. Again, I'm not crazy about the way the pattern actually, or how it's actually looking here. So this is going to be one of the main ones I follow for earnings today, and we're going to be following it here. We got resistance pre-market in the 150s. You have the dip here pre-mark or after hours trading down to 140. So the nice thing here, in a sense, is it has a lot of range that it could trade from the high to the most recent kind of big low. That is 143 to 150. That's $7 per share from the pre-market high the after-hour high to the after-hour dip. So there's a lot of trading action that could just take place in between from high to low, which can cause a day for rallying. Like if it couldn't pick a direction, we could just see it rally, and there's multiple opportunities to get in. So kind of like that, we'll be focusing on it. Those are the only two stocks that I had. So at this point, I'll take a look at some of the things you guys are mentioning. Not that I haven't already seen them, but maybe something has changed. All right. Yeah. Oh, by the way, okay, before we start looking at all these stocks and I get carried away, let's look at the market here first, okay? So this is the SPY. There was just news that just came out that from it's a news release from Benzinga here. All right, so we got a news release from Benzinga. Wilbur Ross on CNBC says large. Oh, no, that's not the one I wanted to read. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, still from Wilbur Ross on CNBC says miles and miles from resolving the China trade. And then if you look at the market, okay, guys, so this is actually a really good learning lesson for a lot of you here, okay, because this is pretty much a real-time event we can show you. So as a trader, right, if you look at my video, you look at some other trading person's video, you read a blog or something about trading, and you're probably going to come along the lines of, if you're going to be a day trader or you're going to invest in trading stocks, you know, and especially if you're a day trader, you want to be really up to date on the most recent news. You want to be able to find the strong news because then you can get a strong stock and blah, blah, blah. Well, this is a perfect example to show you how quickly things can be affected by one piece of news. If you were to hover over this big red candle on the market, this is at 8:32 Eastern Standard Time. And if you come down here, okay, at 8:34, Wilbur Ross on CNBC says, you know, we're miles and miles away from China trade. If you had been watching CNBC, you would have known about that before it hit the wire. So it took roughly 2 minutes for Benzinga to get out to Thinkorswim that they're miles and miles away from resolving China trade. But if you were watching CNBC, you would have heard him say that, and you could have possibly gotten in on this move. So what I'm getting at is people have acted negatively towards that news. Okay? CNBC, some guy says we're very far away from resolving any sort of trade talks with China. Look what happened to the market. It drops, okay? That is how fast news can travel and people react to news, okay? So let's think if you were in a stock and all of a sudden it starts to drop and drop and drop and it just keeps dropping. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And you are just so new, or you're so maybe stuck in your ways that you never took the chance or took the time to learn or think about news affecting the stock. You would have no clue why your stock's dropping. You'd have no understanding of what's going on. And all it really was just a simple article that may have been released on your stock that said, hey, this company killed 20 people from this drug, or this biotech company was supposed to make a new headache medicine and their first 20 patients all died. That would be shitty, and the company would go bankrupt and they'd be sued forever. But if it did, you can be assured that your stock would be going down. Like if Apple all of a sudden had a press release come out and say, the new Apple bullshit next level iPhone blew up on somebody's face and killed them, what do you think is going to happen to Apple? Apple probably wouldn't necessarily go out of business, but in the short term, it's the perfect short. In the short term, it would be the perfect opportunity to short their stock. And that's kind of what happened. Trade talks are going terrible. We're nowhere near to resolving them. Market goes down. Okay. All right. Now that I have spieled enough, given you guys a little bit of a lesson here this morning. Good morning to everybody. Let's see. All right, so it looks like NVDA, because people keep giving me a hard time about saying NVDA, but I guess it's NVDA. But really, it's NVDA because I can and you can pronounce anything however you would like in this world. So NVDA it is, and they are going down. All right. So with NVDA, it is sort of topping out here pre-market around yesterday's highs, right? You can see that's just the top pre-market, and we're rolling over. And you can see here, you could argue that it's starting to sell here portionally because of the top here yesterday. I don't see any news here this morning unless something came out later in the day. I wouldn't know, and I'm not going to really take the time to go through that right now. It would take too much time. So let's see. That's really just it. Let's see, that one right there. You could even argue it's from one of these candles over here that's hitting resistance, but that's just it, right? This now, I would say, and I also got to look at the market. The market's probably dropping again at this level. Let's look at this chart. Yeah, today's going to be a good day now to possibly, yeah, today's probably going to be a good day to short the stock market. And I don't want to become too biased on the market short today just based off of this pre-market movement. When you're seeing it go down the way it is right now, it's really easy to go, oh yeah, today's going to be the short. Really easy, okay? It would be really easy to go, oh, we should short it because of this downward move. But I'm not thinking about just this small move. I'm thinking about the past 2 days. The past 2 days we have dropped, we have been bought up. We dropped, we were bought up. And today, we're rolling over. Like this is an actual rollover. This is at the point when I look at the daily chart, I go, okay, this, oh, that's not it, 180 day. I go, okay, this could be the start of the drop. We're trending here. And when I say a drop, I mean it just kind of like the start of the move really, really down. And that's it. You see how it's trending down now. It's pushing lower. So there are a few kind of like support levels it would have to break today to really kind of drop, but it's moving that way. Everybody has known about the China trade talks, trade tariffs, and trade wars for a long time now. This is nothing new. The whole world knows that Donald Trump has his panties in a bunch, and America and China all have their panties in a bunch over this trade talk, this, that. Anyways, you guys know they do. So when we finally get a little piece of news that says we're nowhere near resolving this, even though Donald Trump has specifically tweeted multiple times that we are closer on negotiations, or here's some more bullshit, here's some more bullshit, more bullshit. This is the first time that it appears we're actually getting some legitimate news, maybe, in regards to this trade talk, trade tariff, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not guaranteeing a short here, but you never know. So pay close attention to it. The other thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the SPY is this. If you look at the daily chart has 2 red candles here with lower wicks, which represents buying pressure, that people are buying up the lows on these days or the lows of these red candles. And these candles have successfully stayed above the 9 moving average or held relatively close, and the body candles have all closed over the 50 moving average on the daily chart. So what we really want to see for bearish traders or short bias trading is we want to see this come down. We want to see the price action come down and actually break the 9 moving average, close below the 50 and or the 9 moving average. We want a red candle to close below that red line and that blue line on the day, and that would be sort of a bearish signal that would maybe signify a move lower. So that's what I'm kind of watching for. So we'll see. Where am I at? All right, it's 8:55. I got 5 minutes. We're going to do a little speed round of the stocks you guys want to watch. So if you ask for me to look at a stock, get ready, because I'm going to run through these fast as lightning. And if you miss it, you miss it. So let's do this. All right, let's start. Didn't we do NVDA? Yeah, we literally did NVDA. And if the market keeps going lower, watch NVDA for a short, possibly. Alrighty, so TVIX. TVIX is very straightforward. TVIX, if the market's going down, the volatility index picks up above 25, you're going to want to look to get long on the market. If the market stays bullish, the volatility index is below 25, you're not going to want to be getting long the market. You're probably going to want to stay neutral on TVIX. On to the next one. IBM, let's take a look at IBM. They had earnings yesterday, shot up like crazy right in the morning, sold off, gave back some of the gains. I would say volatility here is going to slow down on IBM because this is the second day after their earnings report. I probably wouldn't look to short the stock considering it's not a first red day setup. So I'd actually probably keep IBM on watch for a long today rather than a short, at least to start off the day. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is the way that it gave back its gains yesterday. So understand that IBM had a strong push up, sold off all the way down, but you also got to think, okay, did it really sell off that hard or did it not? Because it was already up from 122, hit highs of 135, big sell off. So that is a normal sell off. Stock still trending up. I would say keep IBM on watch, more long bias than short bias at this current time. Gold, I'm not going to touch on gold today. I won't touch on gold today. NIO could be fun. Actually, I'm just going to go off the top of my head here on my analysis that I believe has been true since the past 2 or 3 months ago. NIO has extremely strong resistance right at $7.50 to $8. And I have no intention of trading that stock until it can break through the $8 resistance. So I don't care if it goes up, down, all around below $8. The only way I like that stock is if it is above and breaks out over the $8 mark. Let's take a look. NIO is at 660, not surprising, and it is just on a flat downtrend. So for me, there is no opportunity here yet, and I will not trade that stock until it can get over the $8 resistance, which, as you see, I have this big white line. It's actually 820, 830, right there. That big line, until it can break that, she's a no-go for me. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Tesla. We hadn't touched on Tesla. I will take a look at Tesla real fast. Holy cow, we got 2 minutes. Tesla's still selling off, honestly. I mean, they did cut their workers. They've been in the news recently. I don't know. There's probably new news on Tesla, but just know Tesla is notorious for bouncing. Super notorious for bouncing. It is like the perfect stock to short and to long. It's a constant rally, okay? Constant rally. Look at this thing. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, aggressive down, aggressive up, aggressive down, bounce, down, skyrocket, stock twits, to the moon, back down, back down. So chances are we're getting soon to go back up. But at this level, they're really, I can see the support. I can see the support on Tesla, right? You see here, this 281 level. That's not a good thing to, here you go, this 281 right there, right? I mean, you see that, like, this dip, this bounce, it sort of bounced. So you have this bounce there around the 280s. You have this little low point that almost reached 280. Then you have that top right there at 280. So coming into the 280, you would think, yeah, maybe there is some support there. Obviously, we know strong support's down here at 247, but do you really think it's going to hit 247? That's something you have to decide for yourself. So for me, Tesla, I would stay bearish on the stock until it shows otherwise. But I will say this, that this move is really big to the downside, and she should be getting close to being done soon. It would make sense, okay? Oh, there's so many stocks to go through. NBEV I will touch on because I am following this one, and then I got to run NBEV. So as maybe, I don't know, maybe we did a YouTube video on it. Well, we definitely did a YouTube video on it, but maybe I did something in the live stream the other day. But you can see NBEV here is holding that $6 level. Does that mean it's a buy? No, it actually doesn't mean it's a buy at all. So now it has a channel from 6 to 670 is a channel that you could expect. It's possible the NBEV trades in. If you were looking to swing trade the stock, you would have wanted to enter yesterday at $6, anticipating this $6 support holds, and we're going to break into new highs. I'm not really crazy about buying it here at 6. I mean, I could have, but I didn't. I'm really much just going to watch it now. It's in a good zone. I want to see it consolidate more. I just want to see it basically trade sideways all the way until the end of that pattern. How do I, there we go, do like that. Oh, it doesn't work. But anyways, I would just wait on NBEV. I don't think there's anything, I wouldn't be haste with it. I would just watch it It's still kind of trending up, holding. So if it can continue to do this, it might create a bullish outlook and a break to the highs. Anyways, with that being said, I got to get back to our private group now. So thanks again for tuning in. It has been an absolute great morning here in the boiler room. All right. So anywho, I will see you guys all tomorrow morning for another trading day. Stay green. And that's really all I got for you. I'm out. Take care. See ya.